say thank you to Lishai, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today. I'm just going to do two poems, one about my mother and one about my grandmother, and I'm going to start with the one about my grandmother. It's really short. Someone asked me the other day, do you think sparrows could fly if they knew how to speak? I wonder, won't their tongues, heavy with their stained accents, weigh them down? Won't the swords they carried in their speech slice their wings? Would you still decipher the scroll music scripted in the subtle inflections of their weary dialects? I wonder how many sparrows my grandmother keeps locked in an icicle ribcage. I wonder how many winters they can survive before they fly south, where the sun would nurse their vocal cords. Thank you. My mother has the soul force of a gladiator stitched into the seams of her spirit. In the iron ball call of conception, she molded her lamb into a lion, encrypting the inner linings of her embryo with inscriptions of Pandora's handwritten prophecies, bathing her beloved in an amniotic ambrose. My mother, she grazed her unsullied feet across unwashed sands and unforgiving lands, premeditating upon philosophies conceived upon the Himalayan peaks of a jagged mind, penning principles onto the corners of her eyelids, pulling away blinds of superstition, wailing rose-tinted windows, thrusting aside half-truths and grasping the whole. My mother, she would slip little wisps of creativity in the rugged elevations and dizzying depressions of her palms, outlining the dynasties she had conquered and the legacies she had left behind. My mother, she was seduced into submission by the wrath of a split-tongued stranger who seeped slow poison with the seeds of family trees. Even her roots were blemished by melanin blotted with notions of inadequacy in the eyes of colorblind men. Yet she would paint my dreams in the brightest shades of possibilities, dipping my toes into the rainbow like hues of her soul. My mother, she would take the loudest of curses and turn them into the most soothing lullabies. With the passion of a poet and the presence of a prophet, while polished voices faking perfection clumsily spilled verses in an attempt to compete. My mother, she would carry me upon her burdened shoulders, sagging with the weight of the world. So instead of bedtime stories, I would read the whiplashes of male chauvinism, crisscrossing patterns of systematic oppression across the sarcophagus of her back, tattooing generations of injustice, inking sins that sink beneath skin like shadow sheep, like daggers in the gray spaces of history that replaced her story. My mother, she always walked a step behind my father, but her wisdom would tread 1,000 miles ahead. In a hurried dance, her windy feet would figure skate on silver linings, peeping in the portal of dreams, taking her to places where he could not get and his mindset would not accept. My mother's embrace were heaven's open gates. In the tips of her unmanicured fingers, I would find the mysteries of the universe unfold and unlock the chakras of caged energy within the ethereal reserves of my body, unleashing the fluidity of my thoughts congested by unsaid words and deeds undone by painful silences and powerful speech, releasing me into a cosmic womb of intelligence, teaching me to craft stories that hopscotch amid stepping stones, performing handstands between rain-washed pavements and sun-streaked horizons, camouflaging between earthly wonders and divine aspirations. My mother is the verse full of vitamin woven into my vocal cords, an unfinished dream, cradled within the arms of sleepless nights, the blood and body of love's reach exceeding its grasp, transcending the limitations of manacled human understanding. My mother brought me into this world, drenched with ambition and zeal, impatient to let my inner voice rise above dogma, to translate my purpose onto print, to stamp my identity on the four corners of a page. I may be a product of evolution, but I was made in revolution. The traces of her blood have become permanent art, adorning my body like a warrior's battle armor. I am her scar tissue, bound its strength and solidified over years of oppression. My mother, she taught me to dream tall and loud, To look beyond the lids of the boxes we contained ourselves in and realize my place in the circle of life. To catch the monsoon rain in my mouth and dance on rooftops till the sun came down to swirl like dust on the slanting layers of the afternoon sun. To rage tempests in matters of principles. To defeat my opponents without dishonoring them. To walk with my heart open, head humble, spurring stardust without breaking my stride. And into my ear she whispered before I fell asleep, never doubt your mother's trust in you. You're still her dream. The universe will rearrange itself for you. Thank you.